welcome back. We are here for You Can Check Out Anytime You Like, but You Can Never Leave. Building a Mystery, Part 8. So, we're seeing about this becoming our wrap up for this particular series, seeing where the characters will be or going and all this kind of fun stuff. So, yeah, whose turn is it to pick a game?
I think we left off with me.
Okay.
Unless somebody wants to jump in with a firmer idea. My inclination is that we should probably go back to the basement pool because Carlos promised that he would deal with the pool situation. His plan is to just go down to the pool with a buddy, one or more buddies,
Hmm.
and just take a very mundane approach to it. Wrench the doors all open on the pool shed, go in, haul everything out of the shed, hose the shed down,
Yeah.
and then like put it all back in an orderly manner and hope that this discombobulates whatever's in there.
Okay.
Whether that will actually work or not is sort of we'll play to find out.
Oh,
Um,
before you go ahead and start that, I wanted to do like a little transition scene because I wanted to, pardon, I wanted to have Madame Walmsley like find Anna for half a mo and
mhm.
kind of, I mean, whether you're in your room or like maybe you're having breakfast, Anna, or like I'm not even sure like what time of day it is in the hotel because we don't even know necessarily, but she'll come up to you very nervously. This is sometime after she brought you to her quarters and showed you her locket and like some of the other stuff that she had. And she'll say, Miss Mid- Miss Whitmore, are you free?
Uh, yeah. Are you okay?
No, not really. um, I've been mulling over something I saw, and I'm a bit perturbed.
Yeah. Sit, and I'll pour you some coffee.
Thank you, thank you. Remember when I showed you the other day the locket with the picture of the young man?
Yeah, your husband.
Yes, I told you he disappeared. He was gone. He's here in the hotel. I saw him. I don't know how. As almost exactly as you saw him in the picture. He didn't seem to realize it was me. But then again, I'm changed. I don't know what it means. I'm
Oh
sorry.
no.
I didn't mean to disturb you, Miss Whitmore. It's just a shock, a shock to see him or someone that looks like him when he was younger, and here it can't be him.
I will take your hands and I'll say, I believe that you saw what you saw. So now all we got to do is figure out if it is the him that vanished or if it's a different him. Does that make sense?
Yes, yes, I know that there are trickster anomalies that like to tease and bother us, the staff, and the guests, but wouldn't think that any of them would be that malicious in recreating him. And I don't believe any of them know. None of them have seen his picture. You are the only one I've shown.
And I sure haven't talked about it to anyone, so.
Of course, of course.
Where are the two of you having this conversation?
Probably, I mean, like, I don't know if, like, Anna's still in her room, or, like, maybe I caught her in the hallway. I'm not even sure, to be honest.
Let's say it's the hallway, and Anna, as you're talking to as Madame Walmsley is talking to you, you can see over her shoulder there's a wreath of jasmine that has been just sort of hung haphazardly on one of the light fixtures of the corridor. You thought Carlos got them all, but maybe he missed this one.
Mads, unless you have like more where this wants to go, I think Anna spotting that is
Mhm.
just
Yeah.
the her spotting it and the kind of mental math that she's doing as she glares at it over Walmsley's shoulders. I think that's a great place to like have a cut or a transition.
That's fine. I mean, I just wanted to make a mention of it because it's like, again, Anna's the only one that's seen the picture. And I don't think we've all put two and two together that, Carlos and Mal have actually seen him, so,
Hmm.
but yeah.
I'm not entirely. I guess if we're back to pool organizing. All right. Um, I'm not sure. I have been struggling to figure out what game properly suits a sort of mass group conflict with an adverse anomaly because I'm not sure if there's a particular one, but I'm starting to wonder if time after time or a memory would be a good baseline to stage such a scene because it involves like a significant shift to the area that one or more people are in.
Sounds good. Let's go over there. Time
All
after
right.
time.
Because I don't think we have to night swimming two times in a row at the same location.
Yeah, yeah. No, it's fine. Okay, let's see.
So the organization of this scene is Carlos expresses an intent to deal with the basement and will happily extend this invitation to anybody who wishes to join him. I think he will actively approach Anna with this request, saying, "I understand that this may put you at some risk, Miss Whitmore, but I think given the events of the last few days, I can safely say that you are no stranger to risk. Or and perhaps it suits you."
Well, I do not know how I feel about that assessment, but I will come with you.
And I can't think of who I would rather have watching my back.
Mal, do you think that you spot them heading down in that direction? Do you think you you know, ask them where they're going, or you think you kind of like just tag along, you know?
I think Mal would probably ask where they were going, like if especially like going that direction because it's like why are they going back there? Like so yeah, I think they would be like are you are you guys going back downstairs?
I promised a beer bottle that I would take care of the situation down there. Mal, I would hesitate to ask you to risk your to risk your corporeal form if you didn't
Oh,
want
you guys
to.
don't know about that. No one saw.
Oh, sorry. Yeah, we'll back that one off. I think Carlos says, I I would appreciate as many eyes as possible, but it is going to be it is going to likely be dangerous. So I don't want to I'll understand if you would rather not watch.
I well, things aren't really dangerous for me, and I don't know if you can tell if that is a little bit of an obfuscation, or not. But they do kind of say, well, having having a lookout, someone who can get help quickly is probably not a bad idea if you need it.
What face is Mac? What face is Mal wearing today?
Hmm. Uh, let's see. The guy that we saved, the front desk guy.
Mm.
So Lane. Mhm.
Yeah.
Got it. Okay. But what's different about Lane that we know that it's Mal?
I think Lane does a pretty good job of like, uniform wise is usually fairly presentable. I think that like the knot on the tie doesn't look like it should actually work. Like it's not, it just looks wrong. It looks like someone was like, yeah, there's a knot there. Like that's supposed to look kind of like that, right? But it doesn't look right. It looks like someone like tied a knot in the tie. Like more than like a Windsor knot kind of thing.
Gotcha.
So it's very
I,
childlike interpretation.
Aw,
Sweet.
so cute.
I'd also like to say that Lane has been very hesitant since he was returned from whatever durance he was in. Um like he's like checking over his shoulders and he's checking his surroundings and he's a little slower than he used to be, and I think there's a certain amount of confidence that Mal is presenting in Lane that is more akin to old Lane than current Lane.
I think that would make sense.
And
Um
and I think like maybe as you're all on your way down, I think, Madame Walmsley's in the middle of her rounds, and I think she will have like as usual, like she has a stack of something, like linens or towels or something like that in her arms, and then she'll watch your little processional go down and it's like, where are you going?
cutting off some loose ends, ma'am. The hotel likes to keep things in order.
You're not intending on going down to the base. Why?
It has to end. I can't promise it'll be I can't promise that it will be straightforward, but I imagine you should hear back from us in an hour or two.
She will clutch her stack of linens closer to her chest, and then she'll get this resolute look on her face, and then she'll put them aside on a table like in the hallway. I'm going with you.
Carlos almost says something and then breathes and says, "So we're called to serve, I suppose."
Are
Yes.
you are you sure?
And she'll slowly look at you, Mal, and give you a sad smile and say, absolutely not. But I'm going anyway.
He doesn't say anything, but you can see a sort of a weight sort of fall off of Carlos. The fact that the whole crew is together.
And Mal will put kind of like a try to put like a comforting hand on Madame Walmsley's shoulder. And again, like as per usual, like has to clearly concentrate a little bit to do so, but like they can't feel it, but I imagine you can feel like the slight pressure.
I think she'll turn to you as you're doing that, and she'll say, "It feels like sunlight. Thank you."
And I think Mal gets a very big smile and like you see like that shimmer of tears of like, nope, not gonna do that, and like blink back. And they don't say anything, but like they've a little happiness there.
So, let's see. Time and time again. Let's see. Boop, 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 boop. Or time after time, sorry. Okay.
Time after time. We know what part of the hotel we are in.
Mm-hmm.
Um, what we are doing at the moment, we begin to notice things aren't the same. Um,
So are we in the are like have we approached the basement pool yet, or are we approaching and we're starting to notice weird shit like in that hallway?
oh, that's a good idea because it completely preempts Carlos's plan for dealing with the problem, and it sort of slides it into an out of context issue.
Mm-hmm.
Um, so yeah, I think we're walking down the maintenance path that leads past the weight room, and there's something wrong about the door to the basement pool from this maintenance path. I think there is a humidity in the air that is unexpected. And it's like the ventilation fans are blowing this warm, humid air through the circulation of this area that feels like there's something wrong with the HVAC. Um, what else is wrong about this path leading up to the basement pool and the door itself that people notice?
You'll see that Madame Walmsley has, she's going along with all of you, and then as we near this, and then we start feeling that humidity, and it's like, kind of cloying. She'll kind of like hesitate in her steps more, and then she'll actually pause and say, "Oh no, this, do you smell that? It smells like jasmine and vanilla and something." And like she has this very strange grimace on her face, and she'll turn to you, Anna, and say, "I remember this smell. This is what it smelled like when he disappeared."
I think Mal like looks at Carlos and just like big eyes of and just like looking back and forth between Madame Walmsley and Carlos of just like oh.
Hmm.
When Walmsley turns to Anna, um, the the maybe the audience or the camera notices that Walmsley's shadow is a second behind when she actually, like, her body turns to Anna.
Mal, what do you notice about the space that feels off?
I think the bottom of the wallpaper along the walls here looks like there was a flood here. Like has those like water lines along it. Like it doesn't look like it's molded over or anything. It just has that like water stain. And I don't think that was there before. But the floor looks dry, and it doesn't look like it's currently wet, but there's a stain along the walls.
Nice. I think Carlos turns to Anna and says, I feel like the hotel should be more discerning about the VIP guests that they cater to. This one has outstayed her welcome.
Definitely. You're muted.
Agreed.
And Madame Walmsley will look at the two of you, Mal and Carlos, and say, What? What do you two know of this? Why is this familiar to you, too?
The balcony party.
What?
The suite that we closed off when we found the missing guest.
Yes. Mr. Anderson, I think.
The people that were on the balcony having a party. There was a woman. This is her. This smells like her. She was clearly in charge of things, and it was very creepy. She's the one that took over Sam's room.
She's the one who took Lane.
Hmm. Wait, she took Lane?
Called down called up to the concierge for a significant supply delivery and then kept him.
Kept him.
She signs her name Elowen. She seems very acquisitive.
Wait. That floor. With the suite. And she clutches at Anna's arm. That's where I saw him. That's where I saw my husband. That same floor. Did she take him? All those years ago?
There's a lot of people there.
Remember, we still gotta figure out if it's actually him or a different him. Take a deep breath. It's all right.
And then her words all come out in a rush. I lost him. In a hotel very similar to this one. We were on a honeymoon. We were traveling and he'd gone to the pool and I was a little bit behind and I was going to join him in the healing waters and I smelled that smell and he was gone. They couldn't explain to me where he went. I searched and searched. And then I ended up in a different hotel. Here. I'm not sure if I wanted to be him or not. But if you're saying that she's taken other guests, staff, she needs to be stopped. We serve the hotel. No one else.
No one else. I suppose it's a bit of a blessing that she's here now, so we can set things right. This dark look crosses Carlos's face for a moment.
Maybe the hotel is tired of her too.
She'll turn to you. Madame Walmsley will turn to you, Anna, and say, Do you have any of your charms? I still have your protection on me, but, I mean, do you have any charms against one such as her?
I got charms. I got charms for days and weeks. I also got something else. You'll see.
I think as Carlos, okay, yeah. I think as Carlos is looking over his tool bag that he's got slung over his shoulder, he pauses for a moment, and it looks like when he picked it up from the last place he was at, which was probably the Rose Garden, looks like it must have snagged one of the bushes on its way by and took a rose bulb with it. And he looks down at that. Well, whatever works. And then looks up at the door to the pool and stretches his shoulders out and reaches for the handle. So as Carlos opens the door, what does this place look like? Is it even indoors? Is it the basement pool that has been dramatically shifted into a sort of amalgamated space, or is it a completely different outside space?
I think
Kind
it.
of like the idea. Oh, no, go ahead.
No, I mean, like, I want to hear what your idea is first.
I kind of like the idea of it both being the basement pool, but also being the forbidden pool that's outside. That it being like some sort
Ooh,
of amalgamation between the
Hmm.
two.
I like that too.
sure.
And also too, it's like, there's some details harkening back to the other pool in Madame Walmsley's past that kind of pick it out as like this was the place that it happened. This is the place where her husband was taken, disappeared, da da da. But like the smell is very strong here. As you open up the door, we get like smacked in our faces with it,
Yeah.
you know.
And it's jasmine and vanilla, but it's almost as if it is overpowering to cover the scent of rot.
Mm, that's very, yeah, that's probably very true.
And I think there's there's a sort of a an unreality to there's a sort of an unreality to the space in this to the basement pool space along the walls. For instance, there's one wall where instead of the wall of the basement pool, it's this sort of wrought iron. No, it isn't. Um, this sort of um like wooden slat fence that would have been along one edge of the forbidden pool, covered in vines. But if you peek between the bars of the slat, you basically see an empty slurry of grayness, as if the space on the other side of the fence is struggling to interface with reality.
I can see that because I mean, like, it's almost like it's trying to shift in and out of being all these things all at once. Because, like, we can see it in the floor, even where, like, it looks like it's kind of like cracked rock or tile. But then, like, also, too, I mean, like, Madame Walmsley sees where it's like this marble that was there at the pool that she and her husband were at for their honeymoon years ago, and it's like it's kind of like going in between the marble and the cracked rock and all this kind of stuff. So it is definitely very visible where it's shifting back and forth.
We
So
in
what? Go on, sorry.
are we in three different places at one time right now? At least? The hotel's weird sometimes.
Sometimes Madame Walmsley will actually like look at you, Mal, and go, sometimes.
And Mal will just like could you be like, yeah, sometimes. Like is like totally thinks that most things are normal, clearly, but like
The the space is occupied. It is There are figures in the pool and in the hot tub and batting a volleyball back and forth as if this were a social event at the Forbidden Pool.
You know who I see over at the bar? Your friend in the label.
Oh, oh boy.
Wearing their apron and everything like that, and like, like clacking some wooden mugs together, and just like, passing out the bubbly or whatever. So,
And
I
I
like
think
that.
he makes eye contact with the group as we come in, and he smiles a little bit. Yeah, it's gives the gives a friendly nod, and then just goes back to serving the bar.
yeah.
I think one of the other things that makes this look even weirder is not all of the people, but some of the people are like that after image of like you filmed someone and then you filmed the place and like so that like they kind of look like ghost images, but like they're they're there and you can tell that they're there, but you can also kind of see through them.
Yeah, and they're not recognizable as current hotel guests. Like the family of four, they aren't here. The people we saw at breakfast, they aren't here. Like it's difficult to positively identify anybody we're seeing here.
Are anybody from the balcony party here?
Ooh, I like that idea. I think they should be.
But are
Do
they
we?
more real than the ghost images people?
I think I think their dress is recognizable as being from the balcony. I think Mal and Carlos can recognize people as having been from the balcony, but their identity is obscured. It's like I know this is true, but I don't know how I know.
What about Madame Walmsley's husband slash the valet guy? It's like,
I
is he here or real or what is he?
I don't think we see him or Elwyn yet.
Yeah, probably not.
Um, and what the pool, what did the pool shed look like? The pool shed has taken a The pool shed has taken a form that is akin to Madame Walm to the hotel where Madame Walmsley's husband disappeared. What does it look like, and how does it look threatening?
They were like, not cabanas. What the hell are they? They were like, there used to be like changing tents and everything, like, that used to be around this pool place. But I think, even though it's like a gaily striped tent and it's like pretty sturdy because it's like it's tamped down, it's like it's tacked, like, like in place and everything like that. When you look towards its entrance, which is just a flap, like half tacked open, it is completely black in there. No light, no nothing. Like you can't see a damn thing in there. It is like the darkness is completely solid.
So a lot like it looked behind Mal the last time we were in the basement.
Exactly. It just has the like it just has the new look, It's like a gaily striped tent rather than like the pool shed that it had when we originally came earlier.
And the ground below that tent is an immaculate, like the portion of this room that is where that tent is an immaculately grassy lawn. Um, but the grass at the edge of the tent is curled and brown, and where the stakes are driven into the turf. Carlos sort of stops still and just looks around bemused at this situation because it's immediately put him wrong-footed. Like he had a plan coming down here, and nothing about this is his plan.
Should should you go talk to the bartender?
Might might want to if he'll he might have a better idea of what's going on. I think Carlos starts heading in that direction. Whoever I feel like if you don't mind, Madame Walmsley, I feel like this flashback is most targeted to you, so I suggest you might want to go first on the pass around the table. You are
Oh,
muted.
you're muted.
Okay. Go around the table. Detail of the past prompt, and then choose an option to finish it. Okay. Um. Oh boy. Okay, so he's not here yet with her. Um. Whew.
Wait, remind me which game we're playing?
We're
Uh,
playing time after time.
Okay.
Okay. So I witnessed an event I lived through or was told of, but something's wrong. It happens inside the hotel when it didn't before. Like definitely not this hotel, and it was like, at a different hotel whatsoever. And I think, she's kind of like rubbing her eyes, as she's looking and trying to take in everything because she sees the freaky tent and that's like, ugh. And the darkness within, and she's like rubbing her eyes, just like making sure that she's actually seeing it correctly. And she's seeing the people splash in the pool, and it's almost as if it was like it was before. I mean, like, they aren't the same people necessarily that she remembers because it happened so long ago, but she almost wants to tell them, it's like, get out, get out. You'll be taken if you stay here much longer. And she's just like very tempted to go to the edge of the pool and beseech them to get out and then, like, leave this place. But she feels like her feet are made of lead and like she can't, like, or they're stuck in place and she can't move because she's just fearing to see, but also hoping to see her husband, even if he's younger, the age that he was when he disappeared, and may or may not remember her or whatever. And she will see, and I don't know if anybody else will see it, but I mean, like, she sees almost like a ghosting of an image, like, from the far doors beyond the tent. She'll see like a ghosting image of him looking as if he was as he was, like in his, like, swim outfit or whatever, and he's all smiles and ready with his towel, but it's like it's a ghosted image, like, we can see through him, like the audience can see through him, but she's just kind of like reaching out, and it's like she wants to call out to this memory that she sees. And she knows that he doesn't see her. And, she kind of sees him, this ghost image of him, just come in his swim trunks, like kind of contemplate the pool. And she's again reaching out to him, and like she wants to cry out to him so badly, like, don't go in, please, don't go in. And she'll actually like collapse to her knees as she's still reaching out. And as the image goes into the pool, like steps into the pool, the image disappears. And then she kind of like just puts her head in her hands and starts to cry.
there was a woman in the shallow end of the pool. Um, One of the people that Madame Walmsley recognized from that memory burned into her brain. She's wearing a bathing suit, a very classy bathing suit that you recognize from that day. But she's also wearing a cocktail gown that's glittering with with little rhinestones. which is very inappropriate for being half submerged in the pool. But she's wearing both of them at the same time, like between one moment and the other. And when you reach out to them to like encourage them to get out of the pool, she looks in your direction and she laughs, and her eyes stare through you. And there's a moment when your husband, as he's stepping towards into the pool, there is a moment when he is wearing the butler's outfit that Mal and Carlos saw him in. And the moment when he's wearing his bathing suit, and he's wearing both at the same time, but it's like from blink to blink.
Yeah. Who's next?
Uh, I'll go. Sorry, I'll stop trying to highlight and just go. Um, Anna, um, is following behind Carlos, uh, at a distance, and she hears a meow, and yeah, it's what she's like, what? She turns around and she looks, and sort of out of nowhere, like Will was saying, just a blink of an eye, all of a sudden there's a very small cat that is curled up on the bar a little farther down from where the bartender is, and it's lazily cleaning itself. And Anna begins to walk over to it. It lifts its head up, from its leg straight up in the air, and it looks at her and she goes, Betsy? And Betsy, the cat that she used to feed back in her room, from her boarding house room, uh, winks at her and then gets up and sort of jumps at her. So Anna instinctively catches this very tiny gray and silver striped tabby, like very tiny runt of the litter cat. And when she catches Betsy, she looks up, and Betsy gets incredibly warm in her arms. And then across the pool, right right in the corner where there are like chairs to lay out, the corner gets dark and Betsy's eyes get dark. And it's not the corner of the pool anymore. It is the office of the night manager. And Betsy sort of puts her paws up on my shoulder and starts to knead a little bit. And this really tiny voice from her goes, We don't have a lot of time. Watch. And in this office that almost looks like if we were looking at a diorama of the office, it's just like half of it cut sideways. And I'm watching this cat, and the night manager is not physically in the room, that there's just the voice. But Elowen steps from a corner and sits in one of the chairs and begins to speak and reaches forward and sets a piece of paper on the desk. And she signs something and laughs a little bit. And then she looks up and she looks around as though she feels like someone is watching her. And she stands up from the chair really quickly and snaps her fingers, and that dark corner vanishes back into the side of the pool. And Betsy stops kneading and kind of growls a little bit, and then goes back to laying in my arms. And I look down and I go, how did I got a lot of questions from you for you, you furball. And Anna starts real big scritches on the top of Betsy's head and then turns back to the back of where Carlos is.
Carlos approaches the bartender, and the bartender looks up to see him coming, and then looks back, looks away, like breaks eye contact, and looks to one of the other people that he's serving. But as Carlos reaches the bar, somebody grabs his shoulder, or somebody touches his shoulder, and he turns, and I recognize somewhere. Ooh, I misread the prompt.
I mean, we can
Uh,
also.
I recognize someone here, though we've never met. I know them from my own family's lineage and legends. Um, this is there was a gentleman who was said to be involved with the hotel back when it was being founded. And Carlos never saw him, but he had a bowler hat on and he was dressed in a dark green suit. Um, and was apparently a friend of the founding family and or some benefactor. And this man, I recognize him from his suit and from the one time that I saw him from a distance, interacting at a family function. And he doesn't look like he's aged a day since that moment. And he gives me this warning look. Um, and says, you might you might be a bit in out of your depth, Mr. Solana. Mr. Solano Cordova. Are you sure you don't want to turn back now? This is the roots of this gathering. Walk with me, he says. And he takes Carlos by the shoulders and walks closer to like the away from the pool, away from the tent towards the badminton um towards the badminton game that's or the volleyball game that's going on. And so the thump of the volleyball of rubber against flesh or of ball against flesh and the shouts from the players sort of provide some white noise. And as we walk, he says, the roots of this gathering stretch deep, all deep to the foundations. There is an understanding that there's an understanding that the builders made with others on this spot. If you may feel that you and your friends may feel that this current situation has become untenable, but there is a claim of place and authority that you must address if you wish to change it. And then he looks at Carlos. I may need to workshop this. I think he looks at Carlos. All right, I think I will toss it into the air for us to determine. But he looks at Carlos and he says, What does this place mean to you? What does this place mean to its assembled residents, to its guests, to its staff? What is anathema in this place? What cannot be born, even from its oldest guests? Maybe somebody made a mistake. And he winks and pats Carlos on the shoulder. I hesitate to have a conversation with myself. So I don't think I don't think I have a clever approach from there. But is there something in this space? The man in purple or the man in green is suggesting that the man in green is suggesting that Elowen may have left herself vulnerable somewhere in her recent actions. I think when he says someone made a mistake, he he looks with his eyes to he glances over at the pool with his eyes, and he can see we see what he is seeing. We see what the camera shifts to what he is seeing, and he is seeing um Madame Walmsley's husband walk into the pool and Madame Walmsley um on her knees. We see that for a moment as the camera shifts mid-conversation.
I love that. And I'm sorry, I thought you were asking yourself like a hypothetical question. Like I did I didn't realize you were looking for an actual answer.
Well, I think I was just reacting to the dead zone, the dead zone of silence. But
I was trying to consider it because I was thinking, I like immediately came up with something, but I'm like, I don't know how to introduce my solution. I'm so used to playing Car from Brindlewood. Excuse me, but I mean, like, I kind of have an idea of like what he means, but I don't know how to. Oh, fuck it. I'm just gonna do above board, whatever.
sounds good.
Above table. Basically, it's like my thought is this: the hotel has offered refuge to people that are running away from something. If they're guests or even staff, I mean, like, the hotel has offered refuge to people that have circumstances that beyond their control, and it kind of gives them a place to come to, or gives them a place to run to if they're running away from something. In this case, it's like Elowen is breaking some serious ass rule, regardless of whatever contract or agreement that she thinks that she's made, by from taking advantage of the hotel's hospitality rule and taking guests and staff from it.
Hmm.
So I feel like that's kind of what he's hinting at. I
Yeah.
feel like that's what he's like. She done bad, so somebody's got to make her accountable and stuff like that. You know, remind her. It's like, she's gonna deserve more than a swat on the wrist for this. You know, but yeah,
And I think he's implying that Elowen believes herself to be inviolable because of deals made when the hotel was founded.
right.
But and she has enough cachet, she has enough power that the others of her kind in this space are not willing to call her out on the spot in public, but she is overstepping.
Yeah, I mean the basic hospitality rule is, you know, no harm, no malice against me and mine while I am, in your space.
It's bread rights. It's bread and salt.
Yeah,
If you break bread with me, then you're safe under my roof, so long as you behave yourself.
yeah, but she's not behaving herself. So I mean, like, the guy in green is like, no. Yeah. So she's in
So
violation, basically.
So I think he sort of pats Carlos on the shoulder and then just walks into this into the group of people who are watching the volleyball game, and then it becomes indistinct.
Mhm, mhm, mhm. Right. I mean, like, maybe you even catch a glimpse of the bartender, like, when you turn back towards him and it's like, he's busy giving out drinks, but he'll like look at you and give you a big, you know.
Uh-huh.
You
I love the bartender so much. I love the guy from the beer bottle. He's amazing.
know? So, I mean, we could take it at that.
I'm happy. I'm happy with that, and I'm happy to pass to the next person.
Yeah. So it's like Mal, what the...
Yeah. The one that I keep thinking of,
Mhm, mhm. Run with it.
is I meet someone from another reality entirely.
Oh,
Someone I know, but their guest staff anomaly status has changed.
okay.
And I think it is Miss Anna, but she's the manager.
Ooh.
So I think we are seeing a different version of Miss Anna. And I think when we see her, she is, she's in her uniform, and she kind of like appears like she just walked here like in a huff, like she's upset about something. And I th Mal is just kind of watching her and like looks back at Miss Anna and then looks at Manager Anna, and Manager Anna um looks like she's like calling somebody to like, come here now kind of thing. And a one of a lifeguard goes over to her, and she whispers something to him, and he just nods, and he walks away, and I think we see Elowen, and Elowen is walking very nonchalantly, like she has all the time in the world, towards miniature Anna.
I mean, I feel like, everybody has, like, when you get up to manager status, I feel like, you're a manager of something. You're not just a manager. But I think, like, I feel like in this case, it's like manager Anna is like manager of security. Just
I feel
saying.
like that's appropriate too, honestly, like
Yeah.
that.
Yeah.
And I think the where things kind of shift to feeling more in our reality is that when Elowen actually gets over to manager Anna, she looks at Madame Walmsley, and she just kind of, you can see her like just cock her head to the hat and side curiously, and looks towards the pool, and then she smiles, and it is not a nice smile. uh I think so. So in my head, she is being confronted by different version of Anna about what she done fucked up. She doesn't care. I think she very much is like, yes, I did do that, and is very proud, feels like she's proud of herself. Um, but I think we all notice her when this happens. Do you think Madame Walmsley has ever seen Elowen before?
I don't think, I mean, like, it would be more of a, she was maybe one of the guests, but not completely with her glamour on necessarily. Like she had her disguise, more human looking disguise, and, was there. But yeah, Evelyn Walmsley did not see her there until she like looked at the memory again. like as it played out in front of her. And I think, now that like, Elowen's like, really front and center, like she really sees her. And I think the dawning horror slash anger is like, apparent as she like takes her hands away from her face, looks at this woman who, I think like the cloying smell of like the jasmine and vanilla is like really like wafting off of her because she's just so fucking proud of what she done. And she's just like, looking over Walmsley like, yeah, I did it. Like, I got your husband. I mean, like, that kind of thing. And she's like, and you just see Madame Walmsley like, take one of her hands and like has a shaking pointing finger and goes, you took him.
I feel like I don't typically play Elowen, but I think she smiles beatifically back at you and sort of bats her eyelids in mock astonishment.
Susan, what do you think either version of Anna, um, how they react to this?
I had it in my head that this was like a simultaneous thing happening. So Anna, present Anna, like has Betsy and is like spying on Elowen as this is happening over here.
Mhm.
But alternate universe Anna, oh man. Alternate universe Anna will look over at Elowen, and there's a different shawl around her neck. Hers is like a turquoise blue, and it has this pattern on it that's abstractly floral. And she will very slowly and pointedly, like looking at the back of Elowen's head, unwind the scarf and she steps forward behind Elowen and leans around Elowen's shoulder, gives a wink to Walmsley, almost the same kind of wink that Betsy gave to this Anna. And then she will toss the shawl on top of Elowen. It's not that big of a shawl, so it would have just like landed on her head probably. But as it lands on her, it cinches and we see like flowers start to bloom out of it. And then there's just this like this little explosion of petals, and Elowen isn't standing there anymore.
I think there is this silence that cuts across the bedroom or across the pool. I think everyone stops and stares at the space that Elowen was just in. The volleyball players keep playing. Um, the people in the pool just sort of look at each other, kind of bemused. The bartender chuckles to himself and mixes another drink, and there is this growl from the tent.
Oh, everybody calm down. I just sent her back to her room. And Anna like walks away.
Sorry.
I
Oh
love
my
that. I love
God.
that so much.
Oh, I love that so much. Oh my gosh. I mean, whoa. Uh, you know, just Walmsley slowly gets up off of her knees, creaky as she is, and then she's just like looking agog at Manager Walmsley. I mean, Manager Anna, and she's like, well,
think the people in the pool are like the people in the pool, that like the woman in the sequin dress is like looking at her compatriots, and it's like they've lost the script. It's like it's like the music stopped playing and they're not sure how the rest of the dance goes.
Madame Walmsley looks towards the pool. Is ghost image husband like gone and like was that memory like dissipated or like is he got more solid or not there?
I think there's at least one. It's hard to it, again, if their identities are still kind of fluid, but there is
Hmm.
one member of the pool. There was one member of the pool group that is looking back at Madame Walmsley and just making eye contact. There's a sort of a there's a dimness to their gaze, but it is fixed on her. It's almost as if you can sort of see the wheels turning, but nothing is clicking.
Mal is gonna go over to Madame Walmsley and say, "What is your husband's name?"
Aaron.
And they'll kind of look at the person who's like staring at Madame Walmsley and say, "Call for him."
It's like, you hear like a clicking in her throat as if like she's trying to get up the nerve and she's like it's like completely dry and Aaron,
Mal's kind of like rubs your back, like tries like very gently.
Aaron. And like, as she's saying his name, like she's taking these tentative steps closer. Aaron, it's me. It's Evelyn. Do you do you know me at all?
The the figure straightens and they look around at the others and they look at themselves and they reach out to you as if to speak. And there is this low roar from the tent. Um, I'm gonna mark, I try to escape the time shift and the hotel fights me. It makes the lights and electronics in the building go haywire. The lights in this room sort of start blinking and flickering like there's an electrical brownout. And also in that moment, there also is a night sky clouded over with no stars. That for a moment it is an open top pool and it
Hmm.
is pitch black out. With the flickering lights failing to illuminate, and then it's back to the pool having an electrical failure. And I think the people who are near the tent just sort of take a couple of steps back away, and there's this murmur of concern that sweeps through the entire gathering.
Right.
Anna will walk over to Mal and say, "Hold this for a moment, please." She hands you Betsy.
And I think like first Mal doesn't have any problem like actually like the like doesn't seem like they're having to concentrate or anything like just like it works like instantly like Betsy's just with Mal and like Mal's like instantly like petting the cat and is very excited about it clearly.
And Anna will turn and step up next to Carlos. And you can see her shoulders. She rolls her shoulders back and she kind of loosens her shawl around her shoulders, and her eyes start to get a little feline.
Hmm. I think Carlos has this set look on his face. He's coming to meet you. Um, and he gives you a resolute nod. His eyes are fixed on the tent and the snarl of bitterness that it represents.
I think Madame Walmsley's not looking at Mal. She's just watching you two, like in front of us. And she'll absentmindedly, like, reach out to pet Betsy. And she's just gonna say, "What are they doing?"
The cat, I think the cat just sort of like mashes her face into your hand as if to encourage you to keep the chin scritches up.
And I think uh I do want to like retro something just quickly, and I don't know if anyone would have noticed it this time or not, but when the lights went, when the growl happened, I think Mal flickered again.
Hmm.
And I'm not sure if anyone actually saw it this time or not, but I think every single time this thing growls, Mal flickers. So I think Mal is holding on to Betsy pretty tightly, like not like in a way that's going to like, make the cat upset or anything, but like is trying to take that comfort.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Well, the cat is very grounding. So,
Yeah.
right. So,
You can't go anywhere. You have a cat on your lap.
exactly. No, you can't go anywhere. Um,
But I think when Mal asks them that, they kind of just say, I don't know, but I don't like that thing. I don't know. I don't like it. And they look scared. And I don't think you've ever seen Mal look scared before.
no, I mean, she can actually hear it in your voice, and I think that's where she's actually going to turn to you, even as she's continuing to scritch Betsy. And Mal, are you all right?
Oh no.
Do you know that thing?
Something happens when I'm here, and I don't like it. I don't like it. That thing. I don't think it likes me either.
She
And I
starts to
think Mal
go.
is like definitely like, like petting the cat
Yeah,
and is
yeah,
like very like holding Betsy very close.
yeah.
Mal, do you have any memories that that thing reminds you of?
Hmm. Mal doesn't remember much or like really at all much about being human, but I think something about that sound makes them think of a dog and a really big dog. And they're getting this flash of memory, question mark, of standing at the end of a cul-de-sac with a ball in their hand and there being this just massive dog standing in the middle of the street and just growling at them. And Mal's very small, is very young looking, and they look so scared. Like they are afraid to like clearly I think that there are, if you look past the dog, there's a group of kids. Like clearly Mal ran over here to get the ball, but as soon as they turned back, the dog was standing between them and their friends, and they just don't know what to do. And they're clutching the ball very similar to how they're clutching the cat. And just staring at it without blinking.
So
I,
the thing is
oh,
in the
what?
changing tent, right?
Hmm.
Okay. All right. Go ahead, Will.
I was going to say that the people in the people in the pool on that second growl have clustered around each other for safety. And the one that might be Aaron is like still trying to still looking at you, but also is directing panicked looks back at the tent. And I think Carlos sighs and he walks over to the tent and he opens up his toolkit and he takes out a claw hammer and he starts dismantling the stakes on the tent.
While you are doing that, Anna fishes out a piece of chalk from a pocket. And while you are dealing with the stakes, Anna is very meticulously drawing a big old circle around the outside of this tent in chalk.
I love it. I just have this mental, it's not quite the same thing, but I'm kind of imagining this sort of like yellow caution tape of please for the safety of guests, do not cross this bit, enter this space.
I
The
think
state, go on, sorry.
I mean, like, I just thinking, like, in that instance where, Anna's starting to do that, and then, Carlos, you're, like, starting to take apart the tent. I think, Madame Walmsley kind of, like, rouses herself from looking at, like, the Aaron image and, like, scritching, Betsy, and then realizes she has a duty. And, Salt. Salt. Uh, it's naturally grounding. It's salt. And then she'll like turn to the bar, and like even before she like, like completely gets over there, it's like the bartender's like just giving her like a wink, and then just like handing it like, a big a big thing of like crystals, like you know, uh sea salt or whatever.
Yeah,
Um
big,
yeah,
big tub.
big tub. And again just giving her a wink, and then she's gratefully taking it with like a weak smile. And then she'll like, as she's following you, Anna, like, as you're making your circle in a whatever direction it is, either clockwise or counterclockwise, she's following along, and then like, dropping the salt in like in an outer circle too. So
The stakes are wooden, but they're a hard wood, and they almost seem like they've grown into position. They feel almost more like roots than more like roots than manufactured stakes. Um, and as Carlos is pulling the first one out, it snaps, and the guide wire for the tent flies wide, and it hits him in the face, and it cuts his cheek open on one of his existing scars along the line of the scar. And the tent shifts, and he stops, and he touches his cheek, and he looks tired all of a sudden.
Carlos, you're right.
And he goes from exhausted to like through his exhaustion, his sort of his teeth set in sort of an angry grimace. uh, I've seen worse, but he doesn't move to the next stake yet. He's received a warning. I think he stands and he stares at he stands with the claw hammer in hand, and he stares at the tent, breathing for a second. And I think the tent itself is sort of rippling almost in anger. Like there is a sense of frustration, and like something inside the tent is rampaging on the inside of it, and making the walls of the tent billow, especially since one of the stakes is loose and is now sort of flopping across the grass.
Madame Walmsley's going to fish out of her pocket. She's going to fish out a thick embroidered handkerchief, and then like reach up and press it into your cheek.
Mhm.
Yeah.
And he accepts the handkerchief and puts his hand on yours, and winces a little bit because it sure does sting. I mean, and face head wounds tend to head wounds
Bleed
tend to
more.
bleed. Yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah. And then
Fool tent thinks it knows me, he mutters to himself.
this ends now.
Hmm.
And then she'll look back at the tent, and then like continue on with putting the salt circle around Anna's chalk. And yeah, she'll even fish out like out of her around her necklace. Like she'll She'll hand it to you. She'll hand you the protection symbol that Anna gave to her. For you to continue on with dismantling that thing. For protection.
Just and he nods and says, just a job. It's let's make this place right. And he
Yes.
wraps the charm around the handle of the claw hammer so that it is interfacing with the hammer that is releasing the stakes from the grass. And he gets to work on the next one.
As Anna is about halfway around, so she's at like the back of the tent now. She starts to talk to it. I believe the last time I was here, I named you. If you are the same. I named you Unknown. And I know the unknown can be scary. But the unknown can sometimes be welcome too. So, you have a choice to make right now. You see what I'm doing, and you see what Carlos is doing. So, are you going to continue to be scary? Or are you going to be something that we are going to look forward to unveiling here in a second? And she doesn't stop drawing the circle, but she pauses to see how the tent reacts.
No. Baby girl, is that you? It's your father's voice.
Oh. You piss drinking son of a biscuit, donkey kicking. And Anna like starts going faster with the chalk.
And I can't see you. It's so dark in here.
Listen, you. Ugh. She can't think of insults. She's so mad. I you picked the wrong person. My daddy ain't never asked me for help once in his life, you idiot. She is almost done with the circle. I also called you unwelcome. Unwanted. You know what people do with unwanted things.
It feels whatever's in the tent realizes it's misread you. But I feel like it's getting desperate and getting violent. I'm just not sure how it reacts in this moment.
That's okay. Somebody else take the scene.
I think, Madame Walmsley will, look towards the tent and look towards you, Anna, and say, we all have something that we disdain from our past. Would you say that this is lower than a slug to you?
That I would.
Well, you know how we take care of slugs in the garden, don't you? And she'll hold out the salt bucket.
Ooh. I'm liking the way that you're thinking.
And she'll lead off by taking a deliberate handful, and just getting her back straight, and just kind of dismissively tossing it into the darkness of the tent. Be gone.
And I think it tries to emulate your father's voice again, but as the salt enters the tent, it just changes into this inhuman shriek that cuts through cuts through the air of the space. Mal, that shriek is like a knife in your chest.
I
There
was
is
gonna
something
say,
about there's something about that. It's something about it, the terror and the pain that this thing is evoking that just strikes at you.
and I think you guys hear Mal cry out when that happens, and they step back, still clutching Betsy. And I think maybe clutching Betsy a little too tightly. I think Betsy's a little, kind of doing that little wiggle of
Hmm.
cats that don't want to be held anymore.
Yeah. And then Madame Walmsley will hear that. And, Mal, it's all right. They, this, this can't hurt you. It won't. I won't let it.
It already has. That hurt. I, I've felt that.
How?
And Mal looks terrified right now, like genuinely looks terrified. I don't I don't know.
This
That
is
hurt.
this is playing pretend. This is not real. Whatever it thinks we fear, it is trying to affect us, and perhaps even you, if you fear something that it reminds you of. Name it. Name what you think it is, and fear it no more. She'll
The
reach out her
bartender has
hand to you.
stopped. The bartender has stopped making drinks, and he's just watching this.
Mal takes, very, very deep, steadying breath and has like a very like audible swallow and says, Bruno's gone. You are not that dog. He's gone. You can't. You're pretending. He can't scare me anymore.
It is not Bruno. And this thing cannot scare you, Mal. You are stronger than it.
Um, Mal doesn't look sure of that, but they're clearly trying. Like
Well, I mean,
they're
she's reaching her hand out to you. You know, she's gonna give you her strength for what it is. You know, to be there for you as you were for her. So,
With a grunt, Carlos takes another steak free, and the wood flies up. And as it hits the claw hammer and ricochets away, it's like there's a fly of there's a shatter a scattering of sparks as if he'd taken an angle grinder to it. And I think
and
Betsy
Mal.
has Betsy has probably wriggled free from you by this point, but
Yeah,
is doing
I
that
think she has.
but she's doing that cat thing where she just stays in contact with you. So she's like standing on your shadow, and the tip of her tail is just resting against your calf.
mhm.
And Mal's moving really slowly, but is like inching towards Madame Walmsley.
And she'll, you know, back up slowly towards you to make sure that you can reach in contact with her. And she's keeping her eyes on you. She's keeping her gaze steady and encouraging you, even as she's getting closer. You know, it's like, it is not that Bruno. It is not that thing that you think it is. It is pretending. It is fake. It is false. And it cannot hurt you.
There's a growling chuckle from the tent.
And then she just like turns back to it and snaps, "Oh, hush you."
I want to ask an above board question to Mal. Does this thing do you share an identity of some kind with this thing, or does it have influence over you?
I think it has influence over Mal, and I don't think Mal understands why that is the case.
From the ground, um, Betsy, well, you hear a tiny little voice, which could only be the cat, say, "Our doubts are traitors. They make us lose the good we oft might win by fearing to attempt."
I think Mal has reached Madame Walmsley at this point and puts out their hand and grasps hers, and they look at you kind of surprised and look down at your hands together and then back up at you and squeezes your hand. And you can kind of tell that they're like, "Oh, I feel you." Like you can see the like complete shock on their face.
What's that song that we sang in the music room? About the hummingbird? Can you remind me what it sounded like?
And I'm not going to actually attempt to sing it,
Why no?
But Mal will start singing the song
Mhm.
very very softly, very quietly.
And she had enough of it that she like remembered most of it. So as you start to sing, then she's going to boost yours with her, her like murmuring melody as well. So this way, it's like as you sing it, like she'll support you, and then like maybe both of your voices get stronger, and she's not taking her eyes off you. She's kind of been giving you an encouraging smile as we sing together, and it's like I think if there are any lingering growls or whatever burbles from the tent, you won't hear them because we're busy singing.
Mhm. I think there are some members of the assembled group, like the volleyball group has like stopped playing and they're clapping along to the beat. Carlos is not singing along with you, but he is nodding to the beat and he's using it as a work song as he's trying to provide leverage on the stakes. And the group of people in the pool are just the bartender is just sort of kind of casually, quietly tapping along on the bar. And the group of the people in the pool aren't reacting to the song, but they are still sort of huddled together, watching everything happen around them.
I think as you're nearing the end of the the second or last stake or whatever, I think you'll see someone come and try to help you like remove it like manually.
Hmm.
It's Aaron. He's in
Mm.
his butler type tuxedo outfit, and he'll just look at you like as if he's just waking up out of some kind of dream. I mean, and Madame Walmsley's like turned away from you because like she's busy like singing with Mal and trying to keep Mal grounded, so she doesn't see this. But he'll go shoulder to shoulder with you as he's helping you with those last stakes.
All right. And there's, I mean, we've spoken to each other through a door. I think Carlos will say quietly to him, "How about now?" This is the last conversation they had was, "Is there anything I can do to help you?"
Think you already are. I'm starting to remember who I am. This will help. After that, I don't know. I don't know if I'll be allowed to stay. But I know this, as he's helping you pull it up, I know this is right.
This is a this is a funny place this is a funny place that we call home. Whatever comes, if you stay, you'll be welcome. I know there's somebody who really wants to see more of you, if you can spare the time.
He starts to become more solid as he's helping you, and like you see, like him, you know, sweat, very human like, as he's helping you, and yeah, he just kind of gives you like a bit of a determined smile, and will, help you pull out that last stake or two, and won't say anything else. What do we think is revealed when the last stake is pulled? Anything?
I'm inclined to say that we don't see it. Unless there is some flash of Madame Walmsley remembers from her time in the basement. Maybe for a moment she sees. I don't remember what she saw of that figure of whatever it was that was chasing her. I think there is a moment as the last stake is pulled where Madame Walmsley flashes back to that moment and where Mal sees the dog. And there is something that strikes at Anna of whatever parcel of trouble was just came with the territory of her father's life, like the signs of trouble that she'd been known to that she's grown up seeing, and that have sort of attached themselves to her as well as she's followed in her dad's footsteps. And then the tent just comes down on top of the space, and there is a flash of light, and there is this pressure, like a pressure wave that pushes against everybody. And in that moment, the basement pool is snapped back to reality. I don't know who's there and who isn't. I think the volleyball players are not there. I think most of the people in the pool are not there. I think the bartender's station is empty, but his equipment is still arrayed out on the bar. What else do we see?
Uh, Betsy is still there.
Yeah, I think in that pressure wave, I think kind of like pushed Madame Walmsley into Mal, and then she instinctively grasped um, Mal in like in a like protective embrace, like like I'm gonna shield you in this weird storm or whatever. And I think Betsy clung on to whomever was there, whether it be like Mal's leg or Madame Walmsley's skirts, whatever. And then like we just kind of like like just dealt with it. And I think when we turn back, um, Anna, do you think you've been pushed outside of the circle, or um?
Was Anna inside the circle? Was Anna inside or outside the circle while drawing it?
I love this. I think that I started out on the outside,
Mm.
but with the anger and the distraction of the thing posing as my father, I think when I closed the circle, I was accidentally inside of it.
When Madame Walmsley came towards Mal, what side of the circle was Madame Walmsley on?
Think she was just outside of it because she had made her salt circle like outside of Anna's chalk. Um, and then she had tossed the salt into the tent out like just outside of the circle. And then was reaching for you and then singing with you outside of the circle. But I mean, like, I think the pressure wave just like, like just kind of like, buffeted us like further outward, like further away. Then, yeah.
I think Carlos and Aaron were outside the circle. I don't know if the circle was outside the stakes or not, but I think they would have been reaching over the lines to pull the last stake.
Yeah. Yeah.
Anna, do we see you?
Wait, which one? Like, our Anna or
Our
manager Anna?
Oh, I
I
figured
kind of lost
manager.
I lost track of where each of the Annas were.
I in my head manager and Anna had vanished.
Yeah.
So no, she's gone, and I am there, but I think when the wind came out, Anna, went to get whooshed back with you guys and very much like bounced like on an invisible circle and then came forward a little bit. So I think Anna is quite literally standing in the middle of this circle where the changing tent was, looking around and going, "Oh shit. I haven't ever had to worry about this before, 'cause I never believed in any of it. 'Cause and she again attempts to like exit the circle and it's like a just like a little springy invisible wall there.
I think at that point, I mean, Madame Walmsley will come forward and very lightly, like, kind of like rub the salt away and then, like, rub like a little bit of the chalk out. And I think at that point, like, you'll feel like at that broken area, then you'll feel like, you can put your hand through.
I think when the circle is broken, like you almost feel like the pressure release.
Hmm. Like your ears just like kind of pop a little bit as you go, like, whoa. Are you all right, Miss Anna?
What is the hotel going to ask of Anna to allow her to come back to the outside of the circle?
That's what I was thinking.
Does Betsy come up and make the ask? Oof.
I think Betsy comes up and stands right where the little crack in the line is and blinks slowly up at Anna and says, "Will you stay?" And Anna is a little confused and is like, "No, I'd like to get out of this circle." And Betsy closes her eyes, just long suffering cat, and opens them again and says, "You have to stay." And Anna looks at the three of you for a second to make sure she's understanding what this cat is implying.
I think I think you have a space, a position here with us. You no longer are a guest. You know how to handle yourself. And relations with other things that reside in the hotel. You can stay among us and work with us, Miss Whitmore, if you choose. But just know, as I said before, staying means that you will serve.
But I think, says Carlos quietly, I think there's not much difference between those who serve and those whom we serve. I think I think we take turns. I think some part of this hotel doesn't care too much about the boundaries and just wants people to talk to, people to know.
Did Aaron get pushed out with you, or did he disappear?
I was gonna ask because I could see it going either way.
I I had wanted to narrate something for more for comedy value, but if you will let me
Mm-hmm.
go backwards in time for a second,
Sure.
I think Aaron is there standing next to you, and there's this little tiny flashback of while you and him had your conversation and you started getting to work with this. Sort of off frame, we see Anna like arms come into frame and just kind of set something, like drop something over top of Aaron's head.
Oh, Manager Anna?
Yeah.
Oh.
Um, that maybe he didn't realize it was happening. And it is it is a necklace that just kind of went bloop and he like kept on working. And there is it's a very thin leather piece with a really big knot in it. It's an absurdly long necklace to fit anybody's neck. And there is a piece of willow bark that has kind of been wrapped around a a very small, almost like the down feathers of an owl, and then all of that put inside a little cage of wire, kind of hanging on this necklace.
I
And
like the idea that it's almost more of a lariat than a necklace.
Mm.
and I think the shockwave happened, and it hit him, and I think the necklace absorbed it.
Mm.
And the outside little cage broke apart, but the bark and the feather is still kind of hanging on a little bit around his neck, and he's right there.
Yeah. I think as we were talking, or yeah, discussing with you about serving, I think, we hear a groan from the side and we realize that he's like getting up slowly and he's starting to pat himself like, I'm here. I'm still here. She couldn't call me back. And he starts to get up off the ground. And then he looks at the charm. I didn't have this before. I guess it's kept me. And then maybe he will look up and actually like take a really good look at Madame Walmsley. Although she's very different from how she was. But he will say, Evelyn. And you see the camera pan on her face, and she just looks at him, and her eyes just start to glisten with tears. Yes, Aaron. It's me. It's me. So,
Carlos is going to step away from the remains of the tent and lean against the bar. Actually, no, we still have Anna stuck in the circle. So I think he looks to at the two of you, at Evelyn and Aaron, and looks back to Anna. I think what we're all trying to say is there's a place for you here if you want it. And it's not going to be easy, but living rarely is. Building something rarely is.
Anna begins to move out of the circle, and then she comes back into it for a second and goes, "That hurts." She puts her hands up and she goes to move her hands, and they go through, but sort of as they go through, she pulls them back again and she goes, "That hurts." It's like, when you're cooking something and you put your hand above the stove and it starts to get hot, and then
yes.
you're like, "Oh, I should move my hand," and you move your hand away. That's what it feels like I'm doing right now. Like I'm putting my hand over a stove. What do I do?
What if you come through the open? Itch. Do you still feel the heat?
No, I am. She kind of goes sideways,
Mhm, mhm,
like to go through the little crack, and
mhm,
she like steps her foot out, and
mhm.
the rest of her body comes, and she's like, "Ow, ow." Oh, she goes back in the circle.
Mal comes over to the spot where you've been like kind of jumping in and out of a little and looks down at the line and just kind of tentatively puts a hand over. And it doesn't seem like it bothers Mal. And so they just kind of like hold out their hand to you.
Uh, so I would like to transition to the game. I just died in your arms.
Yeah, fair.
Mm-hmm.
So Anna will take Mal's hand and force herself out of this chalk and salt binding circle. And she can get out. Um, but as she is out of it, her skin, maybe not her skin, but just sort of right outside of her, that shimmery illusion on a hot day when you're looking at asphalt? Like that's what it starts to look like as you are looking at her. And she's just breathing heavy and her eyes are wide. And she's clinging to Mal and she's just like, "It hurts. This hurts. I don't, I, I don't think I can do this."
Mal wraps their arms around you in like the biggest hug and just kind of says, "It's okay to be scared." but you're gonna be okay. You're gonna be with us.
There's a little girl, preteen, in a blue pinafore who is standing on Carlos's right and holding his hand. And they look at each other, and then they both look at you again.
Uh, she's still holding on to Mal's hand. Oh, I'm sorry. So I have two coins. I'm going to use one on a question for a character and one on a question for the hotel. So I'm holding clinging to Mal, but with my other hand I will start patting around in my pockets and I pull out um that watch, that really fancy watch that was my father's, that was the only thing of value I had on me when I ran quite literally ran into the hotel for safety. And that I was so panicked I had lost it when we were playing billiards, however, however long ago that was now. Um, and she is going to reach out and she's going to, it looks like she's going to hand it to Walmsley, but then she stops and she hands it to Aaron. And her hand is shaking and she says, "Take it, take it and put it on."
Oh, oh, all right. Uh, And then he'll be like, confusedly, like, take it from your hands and, start to put it on his wrist. I,
Um, you can, you'll, time will never, time will never get away from you again.
thank you.
Use that time. Use it. And she like uses her head to gesture over at Walmsley.
He nods at you and says quietly, I will. Thank you.
And then with both hands, she wraps them around Mal and really like digs into the fabric of whatever clothes Mal is wearing and presses her face up against their chest and is just this mantra of muttering about how I don't want to go. I don't want to go. I just decided to stay and I got all these speeches about there being a place for me and this can't this can't be what's happening. My whole life it was no good deed goes unpunished and but then I started doing good deeds and I made friends and now another one and look, I'm back to being punished and I it's not fair.
I think I think crossing this isn't a goodbye. I think it's just a transition, which is scary. But I think you can do it.
Betsy uh appears uh winding her way in between the both of us as we stand together. There's a little bit of a, using my leg as a scratcher for a second before I look down. And Betsy says, just just say you'll stay. And Anna kind of looks down, right? Like the top of her head is pressed up against Mal as she's looking down at this cat. And she says, I have to say, everything out loud. Very clearly decided I was staying. You hear that, hotel? Elwyn or man in the mirror, whoever. Bruh, I'm home. Um, and Anna, uh, vanishes from your arms, Mal. She's gone.
The last, the last thing you feel, Anna, in this moment is a kiss on your cheek and the smell of roses. And the rest of us, as Anna disappears, a breeze blows through this space, and the smell of roses drives away any lingering scent of the jasmine and vanilla, and the girl in the pinafore is gone.
I think Walmsley will. You'll hear a sob come from her throat as she sees Anna disappear, and then she'll bury her face in Aaron's chest.
I think Carlos will let out a long breath and just sit heavily on the side of the pool. And he stares half bitterly at the jaunty rose that is sticking out of his tool bag. Shakes his head.
I think Mal looks confused and sad and is just kind of like looking where she was just moments before and just but she wanted and we wanted and it seemed like the hotel wanted. Why? Where? And
Walmsley will
just starts crying.
raise her head from Aaron's chest and reach out for Mal and say, "The hotel has been here, is here, and will always be here. And anyone within its environs is the same part of it. And it is a very big hotel. She's here. We will see her. A different section. A different place. But we will see her again. I believe that. I know that.
We've been blessed with enough miracles today, says Carlos slowly, not meeting anybody's eyes, just staring at the floor. What's one more? When it comes down to it, what's one more? He's almost daring to hope, but he's part of him is just numb.
The camera. Well, wait. Mal, you should do anything. Mal should do something first, if you're going to.
No, I think Mal's just still just like trying to wrap their head around like and is just n not having a good time of it.
The camera, as all of you are upset and crying and destitute, the camera cuts to the rose garden and it moves through hedges and over fixtures. And in the very heart of it, there is this very, very long bench. Beautiful. It could sit like, 5 or 6 people on it. And stretched out, sound asleep on it, is somebody who looks like Anna. And instead of her cream colored, dress with its many pockets and her sturdy, like, work boots and her big multicolored shawl, she is wearing a very comfortable but professional looking suit that is cream. And bunched into the suit around her neck is that, I suppose it's more ascot looking now, but that abstractly floral kind of neck piece that manager Anna had on earlier. And instead of a kind of a messy braid, her hair is just down and a little wavy. And she has um, a name badge on her breast that doesn't have a name on it yet. And she opens her eyes and she sits up and she looks around. And she looks up into kind of the dark above her and says, "You're gonna make me walk all the way fucking back? I'm gonna have Carlos trim you too short next time." And the rose bushes around her all kind of shake a little bit. Um, in perhaps some quiet laughter.
I think if we're epiloguing a little bit, I think while we're waiting to, awaiting Anna's, reappearance, I think Walmsley and Aaron kind of make a go of it. I mean, like he ends up becoming a valet of sorts or a concierge as well, and I think the watch is kind of doing something for both of them. I think as they spend more time together, it's like it's kind of like balancing it out. It's like allowing him to age and kind of giving her a little bit more youth. So it's like it's kind of like evening it out a little bit, like, time wise, and they're able to spend time together, work together, and, try to regain some of that time that they lost. They don't see Elowen again, or at least not in this part of the hotel, this iteration of the hotel that they're working in. And he's, he serves the hotel now, just as she does. And it's not happiness per se, but I mean, there's a quiet contentment with being reunited and slowly gaining back what they had lost so many years ago. And I think maybe at some point the night manager may come on at some point during a breakfast announcement or something like that and say, "We are welcoming a new member of staff. Please welcome our new manager of security, Miss Anna Whitmore." she will be making her rounds during the day and the night as per our staff guidelines. Please wish your congratulations and please follow the rules.
I have two things I would like to contribute. The one is the lobby reception space of the parasitic library. And the librarian is seated at the desk, and leaning over the desk conspiratorially is the man in the green suit. And he is dishing hot gossip about what happened in the basement pool in a low voice with chuckles and giggles. And the librarian is just soaking it up and enjoying both the Schadenfreude and the accompanying warning that maybe the parasitic library should behave itself, or nasty things might happen. And then the other image is Carlos in the rose garden, and he is down on his knees in one of the younger plants, one of the younger planters, and he has in his hand a diorama of a billiards room that has been decked out in Anna's cream and floral colors, in the color scheme that Anna was wearing in her outfit. And it is reminiscent of the billiards room that they played in um back in the uncertain floor. And he digs a hole for it and he buries it in the planter. And he fills it with soil. And he says, I still don't understand you, and I don't understand the rules. I don't understand what we're allowed to have and what we're not, what we can hold on to and what slips away from us. But honey, I'm trying. I hope you're happy with what we're making for you.
I think the camera kind of pans over to a hallway, just a general, doesn't look like anything fancy, looks like a normal hotel hallway, and we see part of the wall open up, and Mal like peeks their head out and just kind of grins, and you see Betsy walk out with them, and they go out into the hallway and they like close the wall back, and they look down and see, I told you there's secret passages everywhere. And is like clearly having a full-on conversation with Betsy as they walk down the hall.
Any other further epilogues before we see these characters or any NPCs that you want to cover or anything like that?
Echo swoops in and lands on the top of Carlos's rake as he's raking something up, and Echo goes, I love you too, and then flies away.
Sorry. That's so great.
I think
Amazing.
Carlos just rests his forehead against the tip of the rake handle. No one's catching that bird anytime soon.
No, absolutely not. Although, I think, hmm. Oh, just for funsies. What the hell? I think, we see like the bar, like the bar, and Gina's like, swapping it down. She's like can't see or whatever, but I mean like she knows the bar. She knows where everything is. I mean, by weight, she knows where everything's placed and everything. And she's just like, swapping the bar down, and then she doesn't even have to look. Um she just knows from the step that's coming in into her place. I was wondering when you were going to come back and visit. And there's a clink of a beer bottle that's being set onto her counter. And, you know, we hear the Fey bartender, beer man, go, well, couldn't stop by, without having my usual 100-year visit. Come on now. It's like, have a bit of a grog with me. It's made this one special for you. This one, you can actually get a look at my ugly mug for at least once in this lifetime. And she'll, feel for it. She'll take a swig, and her usually cloudy eyes will actually clear up, and we see how brilliantly green they are. And she's smiling at the Fey barman, and she's looking up at his face, for real, and then she's looking down at his face, like smiling back at her from the beer label. Up to your old tricks, Seamus. And then he just kind of like clinks his beer bottle like next to hers and says, "Course, Gina, what else will I be doing all these millennia?" And they take a drink together. There's no other epilogues. Then so endeth this current playthrough of Building a Mystery of you can check out anytime you like, but you can never leave. Yay!
Wow.
Oh my gosh, people.
Wow.
Okay, so
I love
stars
this
and
game.
wishes if you got time for this, because we didn't take any breaks. I get you. So if you have anything to say for the series, for this session, I mean, go for it, because everything stars. God dang, what a story! Holy shit! One of the many.
Big star to the yes and that was that entire finale sequence. An awful lot of tossing the spotlight back and forth and making sure that everybody got to play in it. I was just at a loss going into that scene because it was bigger than was going to like my brain was not contributing to my brain could not imagine like the thing that I appreciate is I didn't have to go in knowing what was going to happen because I could just hit the ball in the air and somebody would grab it and bounce it around.
We
And
were
I love that.
we were playing story volleyball. That was basically what we were doing. Like everybody was setting, everybody was doing the thing. I mean, it was great.
Yeah.
So
Very early on I took a note about about Mal putting a hand on Madame Walmsley's shoulder and Madame Walmsley saying that it felt like sunlight. That was a beautiful moment between the two of your characters. And Anna, I just absolutely loved your willingness to just grab the opportunity to kill off and reincarnate your character and run with it.
so good.
Like you identified the moment and you locked in on it and you went and it was beautiful.
Oh, yeah. That was that whole interaction was me trying to do like 3D chess of like Anna needs to die. Where's it gonna happen? So it was just like listening to you guys and like trying to be like, when makes narrative sense? What? No, we got it. Next step. Let's go to the next step. How about now? And it just lined up so perfectly, and that how you guys came along with me when I was like, she's gonna die, and you guys were just like, okay, and like nobody tried to talk me out of it or be like, no, that doesn't make sense. So I was like, oh, thank you. And just Mac with, or sorry, Mal with Anna, just at the end there, like I was gonna be fine, and then I just started talking to you, and I'm like, we're both almost about to cry here, and this is so beautiful, and I'm so happy I'm doing this scene with you.
There's a lot of that going around. I mean, every little bit of like even the tiny, I don't know, it's like not micro scenes, but I mean like it wasn't even necessarily like it had to be like a full on this is your scene together. No, it wasn't even that. It was just like kind of like just the ability to bounce off like something that got set up and then like, people were talking to each other or like, just kind of like this is what this character's doing and then this other character's responding in their very natural way and then this is going on in the background. I mean like it was just so beautifully organic and y'all are just wonderful role players to from the get, and I'm just so happy, amazed, contented. I don't know what the hell I want to say, but stars, 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 stars. You know how this goes. I mean, so many little things that were just brilliant thoughts. And again, as you say, Will, it's like the yes ending was just bounce it and then somebody else will pick it up and then somebody else will bounce that and then like somebody else will pick it up from there and like we just asking each other like what's going on here or what do we think is happening or what do we think this looks like or I mean it was just absolutely gorgeous. So yeah, very cohesive story, I think.
I'm very sad that the game is over. But mainly because like I have very much enjoyed playing with all of you guys because I think this group does such a great job of yes anding with each other. Um, and I love all the little character moments that we end up having with each other. Um, just so much. Like there's so many parts that I liked tonight, just tonight, let alone like this entire series to like even like pinpoint many, to be honest. I liked the way that Carlos handled the like taking down of the tent and how it was fighting back, like it's, getting him on the cheek and everything. Like those like little pieces like that, I think are add so much flavor and give us so much context that I love. I always love that. And Anna is just always like, we're gonna get this shit done. Like, and I love that about her so much.
Yes.
Madame Walmsley is always just the most comforting, warm hug of a person. Like genuinely, like that is what I think of when I think of her. And yeah, no, I love this game. I love playing with you guys. And so I'm a little sad, but
I mean, like Mal was like such a wonderful imp of a character, but yet also like had some very human memories and moments and just like, things were affecting and they were actually surprised and like in a childlike way, but also like, in a very human way as well, which was also very endearing and like, the game says the anomalies are the ones that will like like make it difficult or torment the guests and like try to avoid the staff, but I mean I feel like Mal was their own person because even though they were imitating people there was just such like humanity in some of the ways that they were interacting. I mean like for the care that they were giving to Madame Walmsley, I mean they didn't have to, and they still did. I mean, they felt a connection there, and they just kept on going with that, and then like also going along with Anna, and then also Carlos. It's like hey, I mean, like when Mal cares, Mal really cares, which I totally appreciate. And then like Anna, yeah, I mean, like I'm gonna kick ass and take names or whatever, and then like my daddy didn't ask for help or whatever. I mean, and it was like just such a character moment for just saying it's like, oh, don't sass me, don't even try to pretend, because it's like I know my daddy, like that kind of thing. Love that. I mean, like and of course Anna's accent is very adorable too, but it's so great. Oh man, and then that dying scene. Anyway, and then Carlos, even though you were, like, just again in a different way, get it done, like handyman. I mean, like you had depths that we didn't really know about. It's like delving with the rose garden and the little girl, and like, are you working for the founders? What's going on here? And just so deep and yet so matter of fact, so direct. It's like, everybody had something that was just made them real in this surreal reality that we had within this hotel that is everywhere and anywhere at any time. And it was an amazing game. I don't know what else to say about it. God dang. For not only this session, but of obviously previous sessions, as we all built the story and built the characters and all of the NPCs that we actually included in here, including that damn bird, that sort of thing. So.
I like the fact that in that pool scene, we were building our own problems and we were solving them, but I also noted that, Carlos was death flagging a little bit, and Mal was death flagging a little bit, and there was this sort of push and pull of is death on the table for this character? Is this something we're going to explore? How do people feel about that? And sort of, offering each other the space to take a death if it felt appropriate.
Yeah, exactly. And again, it's offered from the very beginning. It's like there is the possibility of the characters getting killed and dying in here. And it is what happens. And there are options. So, I mean, I'm glad that we didn't burn down the hotel. But, it's still tragic. And yet, like, renewing that Anna was the one to go. But it made sense. And, I'm actually pleased because then we got a glimpse of this could be the possible future, because God knows the alternate realities of all the different things that can happen in the hotel is very possible that, yes, our Anna will become the manager of security. So
I think I felt like we needed a price. I feel like I'm really glad that somebody chose to die, because we were banishing two Fey entities, at least in my head, and like revoking the hotel's hospitality of them, and recovering at least one person from their clutches that had just been sort of snatched them along as they come by. And those are weighty actions, and it felt like we needed to bleed a bit for that to happen. But also the fact that future manager Anna was responsible for banishing Elowen meant it was kind of a promise to her future self for Anna to die in this process. Like, in order for this win, we need head of security Anna
yeah,
to exist, and this is how head of security Anna exists.
yeah,
So it's a sort of a promise to your future self.
right.
Yeah,
I mean,
actually.
Sorry.
Oh, go ahead.
I just wanted to make a mention. It just seemed like, but it was also based on like the whole idea of a closed loop time problem, but I don't care. It's all right.
I actually toyed with the idea of like if Madame Walmsley hadn't gotten like Mal to have like a little bit more courage there, they were gonna fade away as part of like my initial idea was that when, like with the banishment of the creature in the tent, that it was just when that happened,
Yeah.
you guys were just gonna look around and he was gonna be gone. Was originally what I was thinking, but it just it didn't make sense when we got to that point.
I mean, you just never know, right? Because I mean, like, that's the beauty of these games, because it's like, how somebody's going to respond to a particular, outcome. It's like, well, maybe there is a way to kind of claw it back, or, make it turn out a little bit better or whatever. And it's like, yeah, I mean, I love this option, because again, everybody was just kind of like piling on the yes ands and just figuring out, okay, where does it go from here and what makes the most sense, which I thought was great. And we all built it from like what, one game. Like one game. We didn't even go through any other games to like really branch out. It was like that, and then going into I just died in your arms. Whoa. Damn. Oh, we'll talk about a finale. Okay. So,
I'm so happy I went on this journey with you guys.
Agreed.
Me too.
Yes. And I thank you all for joining me on this journey with this, with this game. I mean, this was a blast being able to share it with the multiple tables and then, doing all the different things. I mean, you guys still have access to the mirror board, so if you want to play around with that still and then build on it and then, hopefully like later on in the year when we come back to this, I mean, could be a different combination of people, who knows, and different characters, it is what it is, right? I mean, like, there's more things to delve into and more strangeness that we could find. So yeah. Yeah, this was incredible. I thank you all for making it such a great experience. God dang it. Oh, I hate saying goodbye, but I mean, like, for now, it's a goodbye for now. That's it. That's all we have to worry about, right? And so you can always return to it later, like, see what happens, like different iterations, different characters, different, you may want to either be a prestige playbook or you may want to try something else. So we'll see what this looks like in the next series. So
Another floor and wing of the Hotel
oh
of Babel.
God. Well, I mean, geez, look at the freaking like dancing in the dark thing. I mean, God, I mean, it's already like a hot mess, but we're gonna keep building on it, I'm sure. So some things may be revisited, some things may come out completely new. We'll have to find out, like, for the next time. And I look forward to that for sure whenever it happens. So again, I thank you all for joining me on this journey. It's been a wonderful experience, and happy gaming to you all. And hopefully we will be able to play together very soon with something else or back to this, in the future. So I appreciate you all. Thank you so much. Thank you. Bye.